Good morning, I'm Chef Dave Moeller from Sullivan University, and today I'm here to talk about sous vide. Sous vide is considered by some to be a more modern cooking method, when in reality it isn't all that modern. The thing that is modern is the technology involved. We've got much better equipment to do this with, so it makes our job a lot easier. To kind of sum it all up, sous vide means cooked in a vacuum. And what I have here is a duck breast. It's been sealed. You can use a food saver. We have a big food saver here. It's a cryovac machine. And basically what that does is removes any air from that package. What that also allows us to do is to seal in flavors. It seals in moisture. It allows us to cook it at a very, very finite temperature, meaning that there's very little chance that I'm actually going to overcook that duck if I know what I'm doing. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to explain this machine first. This is called an immersion circulator. An immersion circulator basically controls temperature and it circulates water. That's important to us for this cooking method because in a pot of boiling water or a pot of simmering water on top of the stove, that water isn't consistent in temperature from top to bottom or side to side. It's hotter at the bottom, it's cooling off as it reaches the top, so I can't control the temperature as easily in a pot of water on the stove. This, on the other hand, you can see it's set at 54.6 degrees. It's 54.6 at the top, the bottom, sides, front, back, whichever way you want to look at it. And that allows me to cook anything in this thing as close to a 1/10 of a degree from where I want it. That's important because if you look at a steak, as an example, if you cook a steak medium rare, the whole steak's not medium rare. It's gonna be well done on the outside, it's gonna be medium well just inside of there, and it'll gradiate down into the middle where it's actually medium rare. Whereas something cooked in sous vide, if I want it medium rare, it's gonna be medium rare completely through the product. That allows me a better finished product, and the fact that it's preserving the moisture, it's preserving the flavor, it will actually save nutritional value in vegetables. The things that you can do with this thing are limitless. You can braise in it. You can do confit in it, which means cooked in its own fat. You can poach eggs in it. I can take an egg and drop it in there at a specific temperature, and when I open the egg, when I crack it open, it's poached. The thing that we concern ourselves most with this piece of equipment, with anything like this, is sanitation. You can't forego good sanitation practices because we're working at a lower temperature. It's not a 350, 400 degree grill. It's not a fryer. This thing right now is at about 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is right in the middle of the temperature danger zone. So we have to be very careful about what we do with this product before it goes into the bag and as it's in there cooking. Most city health departments are gonna want a HACCP program to go along with anything that you're cooking sous vide. Best advice I can give, when the product comes in, you store it properly. Fish should be stored on ice. You know, make sure that these things are kept cold until you're ready to bring them out and use them. Clean hands, number one thing. Gotta have clean hands. Clean utensils, clean cutting board, clean knife. It goes into the bag, and if I'm not gonna cook it immediately, it goes back into the refrigerator. After it comes out, it's either gonna go onto the plate, into a pan on the stove, or back into the refrigerator. It's very important that we keep this stuff out of that temperature danger zone as long as we possibly can. What I've done today is I've taken several duck breasts. I've put them in a cryovac package. We've seasoned them. We've put a little bit of duck fat in with them for flavor and moisture. And what we've done is put them in here. We're gonna let them cook, and they take longer than a duck breast would cook, but the wait is worth it. These have been in for about 2 hours at 54.6 Celsius. That's about 132 to 133 Fahrenheit. They're gonna cook slow and low, which is gonna keep that protein from overcoagulating. It's gonna keep it from drying out. And when we pull it out, we can give it a quick sear. That's gonna crisp that skin up, and we're ready to serve. Good enough? So, I've got one here that I've already cooked, and you can see that fat pour out of there. This duck is done. It's ready to cook. It's ready to sear, I should say. Basically, at this point, all I have to do is reheat it. So what I'm gonna do for a duck breast normally is I'm gonna score that skin carefully. I don't wanna get down to the meat, but I'm gonna score that skin, and then we're gonna heat a pan, and we're gonna sear that duck. That's gonna get that skin crisp without overcooking the duck itself. So we're gonna heat a pan. Got it. Give me a little butter. Okay. So when we go to sear something, we want to make sure we're doing it the right way. Especially a high dollar item like duck. You can name it: fish, poultry, beef, veal, lamb, whatever you got. There's a right way and a wrong way to sear an item. Basically, I'm looking to caramelize the exterior without overcooking the middle. I want to build flavor and eye appeal with that sear. Nobody wants to eat that duck skin like it sits, so I want it crisp, I want it colored. So the way to do that is you always heat the pan, add fat, heat the fat, add the food. And that's about ready. So that's gonna go in and sear for a moment. I can also sear too quickly. Whenever we want to sear something, you got to kind of keep in mind that those temperatures are relative to what it is I'm cooking. I've got to make sure that that duck doesn't start too hot, because then I'll burn the skin before I get it crisp. So you're always kind of walking the fence as far as how high should that high temperature be. It's always a high temperature cooking method, but depending on the size, possibly the width of that product, that's going to tell me exactly how high or low that flame needs to be. The benefits of this, I could go on and on about. This thing will, I say I've got a restaurant and I want to serve duck breast. It's much easier to sear it for 3 or 4 minutes than it is to try and cook it from raw to cooked, which is going to take much longer. So my ticket times are going to be a little bit less. That gives my cooks an opportunity to stay ahead and not get in the weeds. So there's a lot of benefits to this thing. I can't stress enough, though, the sanitation aspect of it. You've got to work clean. Always work clean. And we're going to check our duck.